We can find a ton of skill magazines in Fallout New Vegas, and a lot of them have some hidden details that may go unseen by a lot of players. First, the Boxing Times magazine that we find in the Mojave features Alvin Nelson, the Red Brick Kid, who was a prize fighter before the war, and this issue covers a grudge match between him and Everts, whose name is a reference to New Vegas developer Scott Everts. The Fixin' Things magazine we can find shows a different cover on the loading screen than we see in-game. The copy we find in the Mojave shows a man tinkering with various tech, while the loading screen version shows a more Art Deco approach with a figure holding a wrench in front of some gears. This is the same for future weapons today, with the in-game version showing the power armor-clad figure holding a minigun with the words "Full Auto Shoot Laser Gatling Guns," and the loading screen counterpart featuring a Gatling laser gun with the words "Full Auto Shoot Gatling Lasers," while the loading screen version seemingly is more accurate than what we see in-game. The Lad's Life we can find heavily references a monthly magazine produced by the Boy Scouts of America called Boy's Life, with the font and art being near replicas. The cover of La Fantoma is a mirrored version of Adventure Comics 428 by DC Comics, which features Black Orchid, who is known for her skill in disguise and impersonation. The Patriots Cookbook is a clear reference to the Anarchist Cookbook, even including a big red stamp that says banned material. This is because the real-world Anarchist Cookbook featured recipes for homemade explosives and other terrible things and was widely banned across the United States. Programmer's Digest is a direct reference to Scientific American magazine, with not only similar themes, but cover art as well. The cover of Tales of Chivalry features figurines created by Schleich, a German company, which showcases one of their dragons fighting with a medieval knight on horseback. Another magazine that differs from the one in-game and the loading screen is Today's Physician, with the one we find in the Mojave featuring 2 doctors, and the loading screen variation showing artwork of a figure with a heart being monitored. Finally, the True Police Stories magazine that we find in New Vegas is actually copied from the 1945 film Dick Tracy Detective, with the magazine using an image from the DVD cover art. The Allied Technology offices are located in the desolate expanse of the Mojave Wasteland in Fallout New Vegas. This dilapidated building is situated southeast of Camp McCarran, a strategic location that also lies ominously close to a massive ant mound, transforming the area into a veritable hotspot for danger and unexpected encounters. As you approach the structure, your attention is likely to be drawn to a group of NCR troopers vigilantly stationed by the crumbling walls to the north. These soldiers remain alert, scanning the surrounding for any potential threats lurking amidst the rubble, emphasizing the tension that permeates the air. To the south, the fire ants are busily patrolling their mound, showcasing a fierce territorialism over their domain. Adding to the chaos, the unpredictable fiends frequently invade the area, targeting the NCR troops and heightening the overall sense of peril that envelops this location. Inside the offices, the long-abandoned space tells a story of neglect, with a ceiling that has collapsed in various spots, littering the floor with debris. Giant ants have claimed the interior, darting around what was once a bustling workplace. The structure comprises 3 main rooms, each filled with ancient desks and battered lockers, presenting a chance for the intrepid explorer to uncover some insignificant loot if they dare to sift through the remnants of the past. As you navigate through the offices, keep your eyes peeled for hidden treasures. Tucked away in a desk to your right as you enter through the first door are 2 elusive Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle caps, just waiting to get discovered. Don't miss the copy of Tales of a Junktown Jerky Vendor cleverly concealed among the scattered papers near the dusty vending machines in the western room, adding yet another layer of interest to this crumbling building. If you possess the Wild Wasteland trait in Fallout New Vegas, you can discover 3 aliens to the north of Horowitz Farmstead and east of Brooks Tumbleweed Ranch, along with their crashed recon craft. These aliens only make a single appearance in the game and bear a striking resemblance to those found in the Fallout 3 expansion, Mothership Zeta. 2 of the aliens are armed with tri-beam laser rifles. Among them is the alien captain, a more powerful variant compared to his counterparts. He appears much taller and more human-like than his companions and boasts significantly more health points. The alien's levels scale with the players, ensuring a challenging encounter. The alien captain carries an alien blaster, though he doesn't utilize it in combat. If you manage to eliminate the captain without the other aliens noticing, they won't turn hostile, but you won't be able to engage them in conversation. Aliens are classified as abominations and can be effectively scared off using a flare gun. The alien captain is always hostile, but the other two aliens won't turn aggressive unless the captain notices the courier. The alien captain usually retreats, while the other two aliens will open fire on the courier with their laser weapons. Once the courier takes down the other aliens, the captain will engage in combat. Interestingly, the alien captain doesn't wield the alien blaster. He is unable to equip it and resorts to using a laser pistol instead. Visually, the alien ship seems damaged, with numerous wires hanging from the back and a giant hole in the front. If the courier lacks the Wild Wasteland trait, mercenaries will replace the aliens at their designated location. Occasionally, the courier may discover two of the same weapons on a single alien, though this does not happen with the captain. Companions often grab the alien blaster before the courier gets the chance, so it's wise to check their inventories for the weapon. Any surviving aliens from this encounter will be hostile towards the Vipers pursuing the courier from Horowitz Farmstead. The alien blaster stands out as one of the most formidable weapons in the game, thanks to its guarantee of a critical hit. With a well-aimed shot to the head, this weapon often has the power to take down an enemy in one hit. When foes are dispatched by a critical hit from the alien blaster, they are turned to ash, resembling the disintegration effect of a laser, except in this case, the ash appears in a striking blue hue instead of the typical red. Like the alien blaster itself, the ammunition it uses is unique. You can only find the 140 to 250 alien power cells on the alien captain, who unfortunately does not respond, which limits your ability to use this weapon repeatedly. The alien blaster boasts a total of approximately 2,500 shots, equating to 250 reloads before it breaks down. This amount far exceeds the usual amount of cells available, so worrying about the weapon breaking should never be an issue. Aside from cut or unused weapons, the alien blaster features the highest in-game critical multiplier at 100%, ensuring that every hit is a critical hit, irrespective of your luck stat or any critical chance modifiers. If you have already visited the mercenary camp and obtained the YCS-186, taking the Wild Wasteland trait via the Sync Auto Dock won't make the alien blaster accessible. The alien blaster synergizes exceptionally well with the Better Criticals perk. Since every shot is a critical hit, you benefit from a 50% increase in critical hit damage for each round fired. Notably, it is one of only two weapons in the game without any spread, the other being Elijah's jury-rigged Tesla cannon. Bark scorpions are intriguing creatures found in the Mojave Wasteland. Evolving similarly to rad scorpions, these scorpions have grown considerably larger than their pre-war ancestors, though they remain noticeably smaller than the common rad scorpion. One of the most striking features of bark scorpions is their light yellow-brown carapace, which provides excellent camouflage against the desert backdrop. Unlike rad scorpions, which tend to be less lethal, the venom of bark scorpions is significantly more potent, capable of taking down most of their prey with just a single sting. In terms of behavior, bark scorpions adopt distinct strategies compared to rad scorpions. Rather than attacking immediately upon spotting a target, they often prefer to lurk in the shadows and attempt to flank their prey. They also exhibit an interesting tendency to make quick, short jumps when they sense something encroaching too closely. Typically, these scorpions are encountered in small groups of 3 or 4, although they can also be solitary. When they appear in numbers, they will often attempt to surround their target, leveraging camouflage to remain elusive. Although bark scorpions are not overly tough, usually requiring just a few hits to defeat them, their venom compensates for that weakness. Each sting inflicts damage over a span of 30 seconds and can cause blurred vision. Fortunately, the effects of the venom can be reversed with anti-venom, but should a player get stung, they'll receive a warning message indicating they feel a little woozy. Despite their relatively low hit points, bark scorpions can pose a threat, especially for mid-level players, particularly when they attack in groups. This risk arises from the stacking effect of their venom, which could quickly lead to a player's downfall without the timely use of anti-venom. However, large groups are uncommon, especially for lower-level players, unless one is near known scorpion habitats, such as Hidden Valley or Scorpion Gulch. When observing the various types, the standard bark scorpion is a bit smaller than ordinary rad scorpions and inflicts a smaller amount of damage. In contrast, bark scorpion hunters are both larger and more aggressive, often inhabiting the same areas. Their similarities can make it challenging to distinguish them, especially during chaotic encounters. Bark scorpions primarily dwell in the Mojave Desert, often found outside buildings and away from main thoroughfares. The first encounter for most players usually occurs on the road leading to Goodsprings Cemetery during the quest by a campfire on the trail. Another possible spawn point is near the Prospector Saloon when fast traveling to Goodsprings. They are particularly abundant around places like Hidden Valley, Scorpion Gulch, and Nipton, Between Wolfhorn Ranch and the Hidden Supply Cave, a fair number of bark scorpion hunters can be found close to the unmarked Viper's hideout. The poison glands of bark scorpions hold significant value, fetching a considerably higher price in caps compared to those of rad scorpions. These glands are also essential for crafting poisons such as bleak venom, mother darkness, and silver sting. Visually, there are no apparent differences between male and female bark scorpions. Interestingly, the model for bark scorpions is a variation of the albino rad scorpion introduced in Fallout 3's Broken Steel add-on, though slightly reduced in size and tinted orange, with both species sharing a lightly colored carapace and distinctive red eyes. Bark scorpions are exclusive to Fallout New Vegas and its add-on, Honest Hearts. Bighorners are fascinating creatures that inhabit the Mojave Wasteland and Zion Canyon. You can often spot them around water sources and vegetation, particularly near banana yucca fruit. Various settlements like Good Springs and Jacobstown have taken to domesticating these animals for reliable supplies of meat, hides, and horns. These mutated bighorn sheep are native to the American Southwest, and while domesticated versions are common in several communities, wild herds still roam mountainous regions close to their favored food sources. This characteristic makes them quite helpful for those tracking herbs. As herbivores, bighorners typically hang out in wild groups ranging from 3 to 7, or they can be seen in larger domesticated herds near places like the aforementioned Good Springs and Jacobstown, as well as Spring Mountain Ranch State Park and Cottonwood Cove. A notable population of wild bighorners also resides northwest of the Snyder Prospector Camp. These social animals tend to react as a unit. If one member feels threatened, the whole group may become aggressive. Though generally, bighorners are calm creatures with gentle temperaments, though they can be dangerous when provoked. According to Easy Pete, they are not suitable as pack animals because they'll simply lie down if they get loaded up. In combat situations, bighorners are unique compared to other creatures due to their typically non-hostile nature. Although they're listed as hostile on the compass, unprovoked bighorners will not chase after the player. They prefer to graze peacefully. They become aggressive only if someone approaches them or their young. If threatened, they will lift their heads and bellow before charging at an intruder. While bighorners can take a fair amount of damage, similar to that of a rad scorpion, they deliver powerful headbutting attacks that can knock enemies back or even down. They are also impressively fast. The standard bighorner possesses all of the characteristics mentioned and are usually found in the northwestern woods of the map, particularly near Jacobstown and Silver Peak Mine, as well as around Nipton, Lake Las Vegas, Camp Gulf, and Snyder Prospector Camp. Bighorner bulls are larger and stronger variants often found in the herds. They can take the place of the regular bighorners at higher levels. A slain bighorner bull may yield up to 5 pieces of bighorner meat, perfect for cooking bighorner steak at the campfire. When attacking in groups, these bulls can inflict substantial damage, continually knocking down the courier with their charges until they drift out of range. Bighorner calves are the young ones that haven't reached full maturity. You can find them in any bighorner herd, both wild and domesticated in towns. However, exercise caution when considering killing pinned calves, as they are often protected by guards who will turn hostile if harm comes to their livestock. Young bighorners are about a third of the size of their adult counterparts and have fewer hit points. Though they won't attack you if you simply approach, attacking one will provoke their family members who will retaliate. The Lost Mountain bighorner calf can be found north of the Dead Horses camp, nestled in the mountains. If you follow the path up the mountain, you'll eventually reach a narrow canyon where the calf lies. Guiding this calf back to its mother is the objective of the quest, Bighorners of the Eastern Virgin. Interestingly, bighorner calves and at times adults will show up as non-hostile on the minimap until you get too close. Regardless of their gender, all bighorners grow horns, and hitting a bighorner's horns registers as a headshot, which a critical hit can result in the bighorner's head blowing up. Black Rock Cave is located in the Mojave Wasteland. It sits northwest of Helios 1 and southeast of Black Mountain. This small cavern is home to 3 Nightkin, including a Nightkin Master. In the center of the cave, you'll find the body of a deceased prospector. The Paladin Toaster can be found on the prospector's corpse. The Paladin Toaster stands out as a unique, unarmed weapon. When compared to the standard Zap Glove, it delivers slightly higher damage per strike while maintaining a similar attack speed. However, it's still on the lower end among all unarmed options. Additionally, it offers a modestly enhanced critical hit damage with a 1x critical chance multiplier, albeit still low compared to other unarmed weapons. The Paladin Toaster's action point cost aligns closely with the low end of the unarmed weapons range. It has a moderate weight and boasts a high-end cap value, despite its relatively low durability. Notably, attacks made with this weapon inflict extra damage on robots and a reduced amount of bonus damage to non-player characters equipped with power armor. To use it effectively, players need to have an unarmed skill level of 75 and a strength stat of 4. In terms of appearance, the Paladin Toaster features a sleek black and gray casing, contrasting with the standard model's blue and yellow design, along with green lights on the wrist instead of blue. Each side of the glove showcases 3 coils reminiscent of the heating elements found in a toaster. Like the standard Zap glove, the Paladin Toaster is powered by an energy cell embedded in its forearm. It's worth noting that Joshua Sawyer mentioned that the developers initially aimed for various unarmed weapons to utilize and consume ammunition, setting them apart from traditional firearms. However, challenges in implementing this concept led to its abandonment, resulting in weapons like the Zap glove and the Paladin Toaster operating with an independent, invisible, infinite ammo supply. This explains the presence of the unused energy cell on their models. Just outside the entrance of Black Rock Cave, there's a hollowed out rock a few feet away. The Nightkin inside may greet the player in a friendly manner if the quest Crazy 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 has been completed by repairing Rhonda, but that's not guaranteed. When not engaged in combat, these Nightkin share idle remarks that reflect the courier's progress in the main storyline or comment on their companions, attributing these thoughts to head voices. Camp Guardian sits on Guardian Peak, offering a scenic view of the Colorado River and Lake Mead. It's located southeast of Ranger Station Bravo and is accessed via a trail that is home to various rad scorpion and numerous giant rats. At the base of the mountain, you will find a hollowed-out rock adjacent to the camp sign. An intriguing feature of the camp is a pre-war sign indicating an elevation of 2,667 feet. This sign has been modified to read Camp Guardian Peak, with an elevation described as really high and a population noted as being 12-ish. The pathway to the summit is a long man-made trail with several bridges, stairs, and fenced walkways, ultimately guiding visitors to both the camp and the nearby caves. As you ascend, you will observe a variety of brockflower plants which thrive on both the trail and in the camp itself. The camp's outhouse is located near the first bridge at a switchback, where 2 ammunition boxes can be found. Along the route, visitors can spot 2 campsites and several scenic overlooks that date back to the pre-war era. Continuing along the narrow path will lead you to Guardian Peak and the cave system associated with Camp Guardian. The camp features a central main tent and a cooking area centered around a campfire, with a Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle cap on a crate nearby. Close to the campfire, there is a sleeping mat next to a ham radio that emits a signal, which the courier can turn off to stop any broadcasts. From the summit, visitors can enjoy expansive views that encompass the Hoover Dam, the Colorado River, Fortification Hill, and Lake Mead. Additionally, within the Camp Guardian caves, the remains of NCR troopers who were previously stationed at the camp can be found. The new California Republic established Camp Guardian as a strategic outpost in the Guardian Peak area to monitor the Colorado River. The camp was intended to intercept Legion forces attempting a northern crossing that could bypass Camp Gulf. However, it quickly became a representation of bureaucratic inefficiency and nepotism. Construction began in October 2281, but the 12-man team stationed there faced dire circumstances, and by December, all but 1 member would fall victim to local lake lurks. The situation began with the NCR sending a survey team led by Burke. This team, however, did not succeed in their mission, managing only to ascend the peak to appreciate the view of the Colorado River. After evaluating the site, they deemed it strategically beneficial and dispatched a squad to establish the camp, commanded by Sergeant Banner. Upon their arrival at the foot of the mountain, the soldiers faced the task of clearing overgrown and long-neglected hiking trails. This process was further complicated by past landslides that had buried sections of the paths, presenting a significant challenge. By the 5th day, the team had restored the trails up to the first bridge, but could not proceed further without dismantling several rundown shacks to obtain materials for reconstructing the crossing. That night, one soldier, Jackson, reported hearing unsettling howling, which Sergeant Banner attributed to the wind. After a week of clearing efforts, Cale and Banner successfully reached the summit where the camp was to be established. They decided to modify the pre-war sign at the top for a bit of amusement. However, Jackson continued to hear strange noises for 3 consecutive nights, prompting Banner to suspect it could be related to PTSD. To ensure safety, he decided to keep Jackson away from the munitions. As the camp worked to clear the remaining pre-war hiking paths, they began using old fencing as barriers along the more treacherous cliffs. During this time, the camp encountered significant supply issues. A week after requesting a radio from Camp McCarran, they were still awaiting a response. In an effort to establish communications with their superiors, they dispatched a runner to Ranger Station Bravo, which was a considerable distance away. Sergeant Banner expressed frustration over the lack of communication equipment, likening the situation to that of relying on carrier pigeons and suggesting that political connections, rather than operational needs, likely caused the delays. The Rangers at Bravo equipped their soldiers with handheld radios, enabling them to use these devices as relay to communicate with Camp McCarran. Private Halford was tasked with operating the handheld radio and submitting daily reports to the camp. With effective communication established, the team completed construction of steps up the steeper sections of the pathway, facilitating the transport of equipment to the summit of Guardian Peak. During this period, Private Jackson entered the tent in a state of distress, claiming to have observed shadows moving in the water. In response, Sergeant Banner ordered half of the men to search the area in pairs, but they found no evidence to support Jackson's claims. This incident prompted concerns about Jackson's mental state, leading the camp's log author to consider recommending counseling for him. However, they decided to wait on replacing him until they received a non-handheld radio from McCarran. Once this radio arrived, the sergeant set it up for surveillance tasks at the peak. As time went on, Sergeant Banner began hearing the unusual noises that Jackson had described, prompting him to request an additional survey from Camp McCarran. However, his request was dismissed and his concerns were attributed to nerves. Since the sounds were not typical of fish, he ordered half the squad to investigate the shore with lamps, but they found no visible creatures or cave openings. Banner expressed a desire for some cat eye to enhance their night vision capabilities. In a turn of events, Collins discovered a cave entrance situated directly behind the tent, an omission that the previous survey team should have identified. Aware of the potential dangers that might be lurking within the caves and recognizing their limited resources, Sergeant Banner opted to send Frakes and Collins to explore the caverns the following day, with plans to collapse the caves with explosives if necessary. He also noted his frustrations regarding Burke's previous oversight during surveys. Tragically, the situation escalated that night when lake lurks unexpectedly attacked the camp while some soldiers were asleep in their tents. The ensuing chaos led to the widespread devastation of the camp, leaving the logs scattered. The only survivor of the attack was Private Halford, who managed to send a distress signal over the radio in a desperate move to contact Ranger Station Bravo. Until this moment, Halford had regarded the lake lurks as mere folklore. Halford recounted that during the assault, he was engaged in cleaning his firearm when he was knocked down and dragged into the caves. In a struggle with one of the lake lurks, he successfully inflicted fatal wounds on the creature with a knife. Despite sustaining significant injuries, including deep lacerations and a dislocated leg joint, Halford managed to reach a cave entrance but was unable to move any further. He attempted to conceal himself within the cavern, hoping to wait for reinforcements. Unbeknownst to him, Ranger Station Bravo did not receive his distress call. As time passed, Halford's hope for rescue faded, and he ultimately left himself to waiting, whether for assistance, for another lake lurk to find him, or death from starvation. Some of the lost logs can be found, with a total of 11 scattered across the Camp Guardian and Guardian Peak areas. Pieced together, they read, Camp Guardian Daily Log, Sergeant Banner reporting. Day 3. This place is a mess. Most of the old hiking trails are buried in landslides, and the rest is so dusted you can't tell which direction you're supposed to go. I don't know what the hell the survey team was thinking when they said this was a strategically sound location. At least we were issued plenty of rations, and the river has plenty of fresh water. We could eat for months. Let's hope tomorrow brings some headway cleaning this place up. Day 5. We managed to shovel most of the debris up to the first bridge. This thing looks like a wreck. Thankfully, there were a few wooden shacks around we can dismantle for scrap to rebuild. I just hope we don't run out of scrap before we finish the trail. Jackson says he heard some kind of howling the other night. It sounded like the wind to me. Day 7. Okay, we're making good headway cleaning up the paths. With only the 12 of us, I'm amazed we've moved this much rock in such a short time. Kale and I made it to the top yesterday. The survey team was right. Guardian Peak has one hell of a view, but we still have a lot of work ahead of us. I sent our runner to Bravo to request a radio from McCarran. There isn't much point in having an overwatch camp here if it takes us at least an hour to sprint to Bravo to report a Legion assault. Day 8. More complaints of strange noises by Jackson. I'm starting to think he still has some unresolved issues after seeing his last squad wiped out by a Legion slaver squad to the south. I sent out a few men to investigate, but they couldn't find anything. I think we should keep Jackson away from the munitions until he calms down. Day 12. We managed to get the rest of the path cleared. Some pre-war fencing was mostly intact, and we were able to set it up as a makeshift barrier on the more dangerous cliffs. I hope none of these jarheads fall off. We found a few cave entrances as we were clearing the rubble. They lead back to each other with just a single collapsed path that appears to lead down into the mountain. The damn survey team didn't mention any caves. I hope we don't find any more little surprises. Day 13. It's been almost a week and still no sign of a radio from McCarran. I'm sending a runner to Bravo to see if they can spare a handheld or any other radio gear until McCarran can get around to sending the gear I requested. I swear those dumb bastards back at command expect us to use carrier pigeons or something. Day 14. It's been a week and still no sign of a radio from McCarran. At least Bravo was nice enough to give us a handheld so that we can relay to them in the meantime should Caesar try anything. Halford will get the radio set up if and when it finally arrives. For now, he is in charge of the handheld and daily reports to Bravo. Day 15. The handheld is working well enough and we finished building steps up the steeper sections of the path. We can finally move the rest of our gear to the top. Last night Jackson came screaming into the tent, swearing up and down he saw shadows moving in the water. I know legionaries are known to be fast runners, but swimming across the river? I sent half of the men in pairs to search the area, but again, we came up empty-handed. I'm starting to think Jackson is unstable and may need counseling. I'll request a replacement when we get the radio from McCarran. Day 18. We finally got the radio from McCarran. I've set it up on the peak so anyone on Overwatch duty can quickly radio in if the Legion makes a move. I'd like to know which genius back at command decided to send a squad to this location, but didn't think to give us a radio so we could actually call in an attack. Probably another politician's son. Day 19. Okay, now I'm starting to hear noises. During my watch last night, I definitely heard splashes down in the water. I requested an additional survey from McCarran, but they blew it off as nerves. Fish don't make that much damn noise. I sent down half the squad with lamps, but they couldn't see anything. We can't find any other cave openings. Maybe I've caught a little crazy from Jackson. I wish we had some cat eye. I can't see shit at night. Day 20. More surprises. Collins came across a cave entrance right behind our damn tent. The survey team should have caught this if they'd done a thorough job. I have no idea if anything is in there, but we don't have the manpower to deal with any serious pests. I'm going to have some choice words for Burke the next time I see him. This isn't the first time that idiot skipped over details while surveying the area. I hope to God we're not sitting on some kind of nest. I'm going to send Frakes and Collins to scout the caves tomorrow. If we have to, we'll use explosives to collapse the cave. This is all part of the unmarked quest, Help for Halford. Listening to Camp Guardian Radio reveals audio detailing the story of Private Halford.
Bravo, come in, Bravo. Is anyone out there? The camp was attacked. I think I'm the only one left alive. We were attacked by some kind of freak mutants from the caves. Please send backup. Goddamn leg. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna make it before I bleed out. Bravo, this is Camp Guardian calling for backup. No sign of the rest of the men stationed here. This is Private Halford requesting backup. Anyone out there? Guardian is down. I repeat, Guardian is down. Requesting backup from any nearby forces. Those beasts drug the rest of the men away. Oh God, I hope they don't come back for me.
Once inside the caves, the courier should follow the pathway past an abandoned campsite and descend until they reach a T-junction marked by a dead lake lurk. On the left side, Private Halford can be found, injured but alive. He expresses relief upon seeing another human and gives us the option to respond warmly or attempt to scare him jokingly, though the latter is not well received.
Oh, thank God. I didn't think I'd ever see another human face down here. Ah! You sick bastard, I could have shot you. You must be the backup I've been calling for. Where are the rest of your men?
After some dialogue, Halford will acknowledge that we are his only chance for rescue and insists on leaving quickly to avoid further encounters with lake lurks. Due to his injury, we will need to either use a doctor's bag or pass a 50 medicine check to treat Halford's injury. Once Halford is able to walk again, he prefers to exit through the main entrance. However, we can suggest eliminating the lake lurks instead. Halford will initially decline the suggestion, but the courier can attempt to persuade him to join the fight in honor of his fallen comrades, which requires a 50 speech check. If successful, Halford will accompany the courier as a temporary companion. As you explore deeper into the caves, you should be prepared to encounter several lake lurks scattered throughout various chambers. Additionally, you can discover the bodies of Halford's former unit members, who have a total of 4 NCR dog tags waiting to be looted. After defeating all the lake lurks, you can speak with Halford again, and he will express his appreciation for assisting in avenging his mates and share his intention to desert and return to New California. He also suggests taking the collected dog tags to the NCR command to ensure the sacrifices of his unit are acknowledged, which connects to the tags of our Fallen quest for Quartermaster Maez at Camp Forlorn Hope. In appreciation, Halford will provide us with a note for validation, along with his service rifle and schematics for crafting an improvised weapon, the Dog Tag Fist. The Dog Tag Fist is an unarmed weapon featuring 3 NCR Army dog tags tightly secured between the fingers of each fist, with bead chains wrapped around the knuckles near the palms. While it delivers relatively low damage per strike, it compensates for this with a high attack speed and moderate critical hit damage. The weapon offers middle-of-the-road durability, is lightweight, and has the lowest cap value among unarmed weapons. To wield the Dog Tag Fist effectively, you will only need a strength stat of 1, with no specific unarmed skill level required. It's important to note that this weapon cannot be found within the game world, instead it must be crafted. Initially, a unique variant called Recompense of the Fallen was intended as the reward for completing this unmarked quest. However, the developers later relocated this weapon to Cottonwood Cove, and the quest reward was changed to the crafting recipe for the standard Dog Tag Fist. Joshua Sawyer developed the basic concept for Halford's unmarked quest, while Robert Lee oversaw the design and implementation. Interestingly, Robert Lee named Private Halford after Rob Halford, the lead singer of the heavy metal band Judas Priest. The Camp Guardian featured in New Vegas draws inspiration from the real-life Guardian Peak, which is located in the River Mountains along the northern shore of Lake Mead in Clark County, Nevada. The Devil's Throat is a terrible location within the Mojave Wasteland. Lying east of Bloodborne Cave, this site features pools of contaminated water at the base of a crater, along with a wrecked truck that sits at its center, surrounded by scattered toxic waste barrels with a lifeless supermutant found at the rear of the truck. Centaurs populate the area, including a fearsome giant evolved centaur, which respawns after 3 in-game days if killed. What sets the truck in this crater apart is its lack of a motor and doors, unlike most other wrecked vehicles scattered throughout the Mojave Wasteland. Inside the truck trailer, we can discover reinforced combat armor and a unique party hat on a deceased prospector. Additionally, there's a CZ-57 Avenger, a unique variant of the minigun, lying next to the prospector. Rockwell designed the 5mm CZ-57 Avenger as a replacement for the outdated CZ-53 personal minigun. This updated model features enhancements such as improved gel fin cooling and chromium-plated barrel bores, which contribute to its increased range and lethality. Moreover, it maintains an ammo capacity of 120 rounds of 5mm ammunition, similar to earlier CZ-53 models. When compared to standard miniguns, the Avenger delivers slightly more damage per shot while boasting a significantly higher rate of fire, making it the weapon with the highest damage per second in Fallout New Vegas. Its accuracy also improves, as the spread is reduced to just over half that of a regular minigun, enabling better precision at longer ranges. In New Vegas, the Devil's Throat draws inspiration from the real-life Devil's Throat sinkhole found at Gold Butte National Monument in Clark County, Nevada. Geographically, the actual Devil's Throat is located east of the in-game site across Lake Mead. Although a half-finished crater exists in the vicinity of its real-world counterpart, it's positioned outside the playable area in the game. The Deathclaw Promontory is an unmarked location resting on the bank of the Colorado River, directly east of Lucky Jim Mine and a nearby prospector camp. Accessing the promontory requires navigating a steep dirt path. The terrain is rugged and uneven, elevated over a cliff, and is home to a substantial population of Deathclaw, estimated to be over 30 individuals. This includes various types such as alpha males, mothers, standard Deathclaws, and their young. Unlike the more dispersed groups found at Quarry Junction, the Deathclaws at the Deathclaw Promontory exhibit a more cohesive social structure, often clustering together. When faced with a threat, the entire pack tends to respond by launching an assault. The high density of the group, however, presents a tactical opportunity. A well-timed ranged explosive attack could inflict significant casualties within the pack, reducing their overall combat effectiveness. Noteworthy items at this location include the Remnant's power armor without the helmet, which can be located on a deceased prospector. This is the only spot in the game where we can acquire this armor outside of the For Alt Lang Zing quest. The helmet is found separately in Silver Peak Mine. Additionally, we can also discover T-51B power armor on a dead prospector. Among the loot, players can find a multiplast rifle adjacent to one of the dead prospectors and a tri-beam laser rifle next to the other. At the southern end of the promontory, near a cliff, 3 Deathclaw eggs are present. The Deathclaw Promontory was designed by area designer Jorge Salgado and reflects the geographical features of the real-world Promontory Point in Clark County, Nevada. Chance's map is located within the Mojave Wasteland along Nevada State Route 160 to the northwest of Nopa Cave and Vault 3. This site consists of a small enclosure containing a map etched into the ground near a hollowed rock that has minor loot and features the inscription, "The sun is killing me." The dark grooves of the map illustrate the major highways that traverse the wasteland, with various items that symbolize important landmarks throughout the Mojave featured. However, these items cannot be collected. For instance, a can of turpentine represents the strip at the heart of New Vegas, while a stealth boy signifies either Hidden Valley or Black Mountain. Cherry bombs are placed in the northeastern area to represent the boomers based at Nellis Air Force Base. A rock situated in the upper northwest likely symbolizes Jacobstown. A Legion Daenerys located to the east represents the fort. Additionally, an empty whiskey bottle indicates the Hoover Dam, while 2 tall bottles in the far southwest mimic the giant ranger statues found at the Mojave Outpost. In the western section of the map, a stick of dynamite illustrates Powder Ganger territory, whereas a tall bottle in the center signifies the RepCon test site. The claw from a Deathclaw stands for Quarry Junction. A nearby tin can in the west represents Good Springs. To the north, a rock probably signifies Red Rock Canyon, while a shard of mirror east of the Stealth Boy represents Helios 1. And finally, in the south, another tin can symbolizes Camp Searchlight, and further south, another tin can stands for Novak, with bullet casings in the southwest standing for Nipton. Around October 2281, a group of great cons, including Jessup, McMurphy, and Chance, were awaiting their employer for a contracted job. To pass the time, McMurphy created a rough map of the Mojave by sketching it in the dirt, which Chance later enhanced by carving out the paths with a knife. After the group met with Benny and departed for Good Springs to set up an ambush against the courier, the map remained in the Mojave, appearing undisturbed by the wind even a week later. Chance's knife is a unique melee weapon, particularly significant in the story of All Roads, the graphic novel. It becomes prominent during a critical scene where the cons encounter a tribal village north of Good Springs, which is under attack by a gang of fiends. This distressing scenario, highlighted by burning bodies, triggers Chance's traumatic memories of the Bitter Springs massacre, leading him to confront the raiders alone. Although his companions ultimately join him in the battle against the fiends, Chance suffers life-threatening injuries from a fiery assault by one of the attackers. Unfortunately, he later falls victim to the effects of spiked psycho, which he consumes at night despite Benny's objections. The following morning, Jessup and McMurphy give Chance an honorable burial, recognizing him as a member of the Great Cons and placing his bloodied knife beside him. To access the grave and retrieve the knife, we will need a shovel. From the tribal village, we should backtrack to the main road while searching the southern area for a path leading up the hill. At the top, we can find Chance's grave, where the knife is buried. In terms of gameplay mechanics, Chance's knife outperforms the standard combat knife, providing enhanced damage per strike and a faster attack speed, thereby achieving a superior damage per second rate. The knife also offers increased critical hit damage while maintaining the same action point cost and weight as a standard combat knife. It also has a higher cap value. Chance's map appears in both Fallout New Vegas and the graphic novel All Roads. While All Roads labels the locations with text, the game, as shown, uses various items to creatively depict these landmarks. Wolfhorn Ranch rests in the Mojave Wasteland. It's positioned east of Nipton, just south of the split where Nevada State Route 164 leads north to Ranger Station Charlie and south to Camp Searchlight. The main structure consists of a simple one-room shack with a stove, an armor locker, 2 additional lockers, and a bed. Surrounding the building are signs of recent agricultural activity, including a windmill, constructed walkways, crops, and various farming tools scattered around the area. Just outside the ranch, there is an irradiated water source. Near the flagpole, a grave overlooks Nevada State Route 164, while a nearby radio is tuned to Radio New Vegas. Before 2281, this ranch was home to a thriving Bighorner cattle operation that eventually fell into disuse when its owner abandoned it. The location serves as potential player housing, as the storage containers here do not respawn, allowing for safe item storage. Although the bed can be used for sleeping, it won't grant the well-rested bonus. Faint whispers can be heard near the grave, which can be looted without a shovel. According to Chris Avalon, this grave, situated on a hill close to the ranch, was included as a nod to Ulysses, who was originally cut from the base game. In the game's lore, however, the grave is attributed to an unknown individual. It was added by level designer Sidney Wolfram. Wolfhorn Ranch was initially intended to be the location where players would find Ulysses prior to his removal as a companion from the base game. The Fallout New Vegas official game guide specifically identifies Ulysses as the prior owner of this ranch, although he is nowhere to be found. Inside the shack, players can find a copy of Tumblers Today near the fridge on the floor, along with Chopper, a unique cleaver variant laying atop the stove. This enhanced cleaver inflicts more damage compared to the standard version, boasting higher critical hit damage and a better critical chance multiplier. Additionally, it deals increased limb damage, raising the likelihood of crippling an enemy. Visually, the chopper appears aged and rusty, featuring white tape wrapped around the handle and a slightly upward curved blade. This weapon is quite powerful and beneficial during the early stages of the game, as it deals significant damage and can easily be repaired with a standard cleaver. Chopper was introduced to Wolfhorn Ranch after Ulysses was removed from the base game to avoid leaving the location empty. Joshua Sawyer clarified that Chopper was not intended to be used by Ulysses, but was added simply to give the site a unique element after his removal. Clark Field can be found in the Mojave Wasteland. Once home to a small power plant and a nuclear storage site, it was laid to waste by bombs, resulting in radioactive materials leaking into the environment. Because of this, the site offers little in terms of salvageable goods, leading most prospectors to steer clear of it. Adding to the risk, a pack of golden geckos have made the crumbling concrete ruins their home. Positioned south of a toxic dump site and east of the Highway 95 Viper encampment, Clark Field features a highly irradiated industrial complex, with the only accessible areas being its exterior. Inside, several golden geckos roam freely. There is a small fenced-in area on the southeast edge that is not contaminated by radiation, where you can find a white container beside a skeleton with some scattered loot. Here at Clark Field, we come across Mr. Radical. He discovered a radiation suit and decided to test it at the irradiated Yucca Mountain. After realizing how effective it was, he ventured into even riskier locations, even going so far as to purchase a batch of isotope 239 igniting agent from Old Lady Gibson to apply to himself. However, his journal reveals that he might have been experiencing the early signs of radiation poisoning, which he dismissed as simple food poisoning, continuing his reckless experiments. Ultimately, Mr. Radical met his fate at Clark Field, never having the chance to use the isotope on himself. His remains are located in the roadway on the northern side of the site. The Nevada Spillway is a crucial component of the Hoover Dam, located on the western side and overlooking the Colorado River. Directly opposite it is the Arizona Spillway, positioned on the eastern side of the canyon. Together, these facilities play a significant role in managing water flow from Lake Mead to the river below. The Nevada Spillway consists of concrete-lined open channels that extend approximately 650 feet in length, 150 feet in width, and 170 feet in depth. Each canyon wall is fortified with 18 inches of concrete, while the floor is reinforced with 24 inches. As water spills over, it is channeled into the spillway tunnel, which directs it to the Colorado River downstream. Similarly, the Arizona Spillway, though unmarked, is an essential part of Hoover Dam's infrastructure. Both spillways effectively regulate the water output from Lake Mead into the river below. After the First Battle of Hoover Dam, the combined events of the Battle of Willow Beach and the Battle of Arizona Spillway led to the Legion successfully pushing the NCR off the east banks of the river. The Gray is a building that's tucked away in North Vegas Square, just near the western junk door entrance. This residential building stands as the largest structure in the area, housing many local citizens, though most are tight-lipped beyond a few generic lines. It's here we meet a ghoul named Andy Scab, a notorious criminal who runs a gang from this very building. He's flanked by two henchmen who not only guard his room, but also hold the keys to it, ensuring that his operations remain secure. Andy and his crew are engaged in a scheme to rob both the Crimson Caravan Company and the Hostetler household. They've enlisted the help of Alice Hostetler, the daughter of Dawn, who works for the caravan, making it easier for them to access the caps they covet. Within the Gray, there's a Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle cap located on the second floor, sitting on a table alongside a blue trunk. Keep in mind, it's marked as owned, so taking it will affect your karma negatively. Additionally, in the Gray, there's a Dino toy smoking a cigarette on a table in the third room from the left. Meanwhile, on the second floor, another Dino toy and a teddy bear dramatically face off, brandishing knives at each other in the room equipped with a reloading bench. Interestingly, although the Gray is a 3-story building, there are no stairs leading up to the third floor. adding to its peculiar charm. The in-game location of the Gray is positioned in the same area as the real-world St. Vincent Help Apartments, which are a part of the Care Complex Homeless Resource Plaza in North Las Vegas, Nevada. The Blue Paradise vacation rentals are located in the Mojave Wasteland. Following the Great War, the Colorado River flood plain gradually submerged a small cluster of small dwellings into the sand, while an old wharf and a couple of boats completely disappeared underwater. Nestled south of Cottonwood Cove, along the western bank of the Colorado River, this area features beach houses, a quaint picnic spot, submerged docks, and many sunken boats, including speedboats and a yacht, which have become the home of a small nest of lake lurks. Only 2 of the beach houses are accessible, offering various loot and a slight radiation hazard. To the southwest of these houses, you'll find 2 graves containing some more minor loot. Across the river, directly east of the sunken beach houses, lies a small lagoon area where several lake lurks guard a nearby cave. More than 10 lake lurks inhabit the region, creating a perilous environment. Inside the cave, you can discover 2 duffel bags alongside 2 dead bodies, as well as some decent loot. Additionally, there are 2 Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle caps hidden in the area. One cap can be found on the floor in the front of the refrigerator in the middle sunken beach house, while the other is located on the countertop just below the water's surface in the northern beach house. Interestingly, neither the water nor the land surrounding the beach houses is irradiated. However, it's worth noting that the water inside the beach houses inflicts 1 radiation point per second while swimming, although drinking from it doesn't cause any radiation exposure. The Monte Carlo Suites are an intriguing location in the Mojave Wasteland. Found on the western edge of New Vegas, they sit just north of the Sunset Sarsaparilla headquarters and south of Westside. This large building features a prominent neon sign on its roof, making it hard to miss. If you're curious about this spot and its current occupants, you can get some interesting insights from Klamath Bob at his liquor store in Westside.
Well, things aren't great here, but I've seen a lot worse. We've got the Fiends to the south of us, and that ain't good. The Scorpions hang out at the Monte Carlo when they aren't slinging chems or getting their heads blown off by the Fiends. Probably the best thing we've got going on is the co-op, run by Mr. Etienne. Get some help from the followers of the apocalypse, I think. Not much to tell. Typical gang of dumb bullies and angry nobodies. They're holed up a bit south of here, in the Monte Carlo Suites. They think they're tough, but anytime they tangle with the Fiends, they get torn right up.
Although the building exhibits considerable signs of decay, it still retains a certain charm. Outside, you'll find 2 blue, dilapidated trucks parked at the entrance. Inside, the area is relatively well preserved, although the staircase leading to the second floor has collapsed, preventing any access. A member of the Scorpions gang typically stands guard by the front door, and they'll attack the courier on sight. Inside, more gang members are on patrol, with 2 wandering through the rectangular corridor and adjoining rooms, while 4 others remain in a room that's securely locked. The gang leaders, Roller and Yvette, also make their home here and will not be friendly to the courier. The Scorpions gang members loitering around the suites are dressed in light mercenary outfits. Some carry small firearms, with Yvette herself armed with a .44 Magnum, while others wield switchblades and engage in close combat. Upon closer inspection, they appear to be more organized than a typical gang. They've set up sleeping quarters, dining areas, children's rooms, a workspace, and maintain a constant guard at the entrance. Inside the rooms, you can find several refrigerators stocked with food, ovens, and various crates, including 1 ammunition box that requires an average lockpick to open. There's also a workbench and a reloading station located in the 3rd room to the right of the entrance. One room even sports a poster of the Sierra Madre, adding a touch of glamour to the otherwise gritty environment. The Pine Ravines pathway is an unmarked location in the Mojave Wasteland. Carved into the earth by the hooves of wild bighorners wandering the spring mountains, this pathway diverges from Nevada State Route 157, meandering through thick wilderness before terminating at Ranger Station Foxtrot to the southeast. The route is home to a number of giant mantises. The in-game Pine Ravines pathway draws inspiration from the real-life Pine Ravines Trail located in the Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area. The New Vegas Medical Clinic is located in the Mojave Wasteland just slightly east of the Crimson Caravan Company in Outer Vegas. The building is a single-story structure with double doors on its southern side. Inside, visitors find a waiting room where they can sit until they are attended to by Dr. Usanagi. Beyond the waiting area, the clinic features a surgery room, a small classroom for medical students, and a restroom. The clinic is staffed by Dr. Usanagi, who manages daily operations, along with 2 unnamed male guards in the main area and a male medical student from the followers in the back near the surgery room. As a member of the Followers of the Apocalypse, Dr. Usanagi oversees all clinic activities. Since the clinic is funded by the Followers, it often faces financial limitations due to their modest resources. This forces Dr. Usanagi to seek out charitable donations to cover the costs of many low-cost services. In addition to providing clinical care, the doctor also offers implant surgeries, albeit at a high price. Notably, 7 syringes of Med-X can be found and taken from the surgery room, specifically on the middle rack of the left supply cart. Gene Skydiving is located in the Mojave Wasteland just north of a powder ganger camp and up the road from Good Springs Source. The site features a small shack situated at the intersection of Nevada State Route 160 and Interstate 15. To the right of the front door, a pickup truck is parked with a suitcase resting in its bed. Behind the shack, a plane can be found down a set of stairs, while a nearby crate of explosives adds to the rugged atmosphere. Typically, you'll spot a couple of powder gangers wandering around the east side of the building, but inside, the space is quite basic, consisting of a small room with a desk and a few lockers. By the year 2281, the shack and the surrounding ruins are all that remains of the pre-war skydiving school and the town of Jean. Evidence of its past includes that small plane that we saw behind the building, slowly rusting in the sun. Inside, you can find a couple of significant items, such as a locker key on the table next to a broken ham radio, and this key unlocks a locker at the back of the room that contains some random loot. There's also a Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle cap resting on that same table. The in-game depiction of Gene skydiving is inspired by the real-world location of the Gene Sport Aviation Center, a small airport in Jean, Nevada that is used for recreational activities like skydiving and gliding. This airport is found at the same highway junction, though in reality, Interstate 15 intersects with Nevada State Route 161 instead of Nevada State Route 160 as depicted in the game. The California Sunset Drive-In is located in the Mojave Wasteland just southwest of Primm and not far from the NCR tent where Lieutenant Hayes resides. The area features an abandoned drive-in movie theater surrounded by a few old cars and trash cans. Dominating the scene is a large blank movie screen with a small playground nestled beneath it. You might come across some bark scorpions, rad scorpions, and the occasional feral ghoul while exploring the site. If you're on the lookout for collectibles, you can find 2 Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle caps opposite the massive screen, right next to the decaying projector building. Be aware that the bottle caps may occasionally clip through the ground when you try to pick them up, and they will appear to be just standard bottle caps. The Old Mormon Fort, formerly known before the war as the Old Las Vegas Mormon State Historic Park, is a site located in Freeside within the Mojave Wasteland. When the Followers of the Apocalypse expanded their mission to restore agricultural and medical expertise throughout the wasteland, one group, led by Julie Farkas, arrived in the Mojave and New Vegas. They quickly realized they needed a base in the struggling communities of Freeside and took over this historic structure amidst the remnants of the past. Despite facing daunting challenges, the Followers have persevered, doing their utmost to save and improve lives. The first settlers, Mormon missionaries, reached this location in June of 1855, selecting a site near one of the creeks fed by the Las Vegas Springs to construct the fort. This fort became a key stopping point along the trail connecting Salt Lake City, Utah to Los Angeles, California. However, during the Utah War, the Mormons abandoned the fort, leaving it to deteriorate over time. Before October 23, 2077, it was officially designated as the Old Las Vegas Mormon State Historic Park to honor its historical significance in Nevada. By 2281, the fort had survived mostly intact since the Great War and now serves as the regional headquarters for the Mojave chapter of the Followers of the Apocalypse, conveniently situated near New Vegas. Nestled between the north gate of Freeside and a junk fence that divided the north and south neighborhoods, the Old Mormon Fort is composed of 2 distinct sections within its walls, a western corner and an eastern corner in the courtyard. Upon entering the gates, visitors are greeted by a courtyard manned by 2 follower guards stationed behind a sandbag wall, proudly displaying a flagpole with the Followers' flag. Within the courtyard, there are 6 tents arranged as follows. In the western corner, a tent holds 4 beds and a chair, where 3 individuals, Wayne, Ferris, and Roy, can typically be found. The southwestern tent features 2 bunk beds, 2 empty shelves, 2 chairs, and a table, where Arcade Gannon is often seen. If he isn't present, he's likely roaming the courtyard. The southern tent contains 5 oil drums and 2 sturdy wooden crates. In the eastern corner, another tent is furnished with 3 bunk beds, a round table, 2 chairs, an empty shelf, and a table. This tent usually houses 2 gamblers, while various NPCs may also use the remaining bed. A follower's doctor can be found nearby. The northeastern tent includes 2 bunk beds, 2 empty shelves, 2 chairs, and a table, while the southeastern tent is equipped with 3 bunk beds, a round table, 2 chairs, an empty shelf, and another table. Here, followers' guards often take their rest, and a follower's doctor can also be found. Directly to the right upon entering the fort is the Western Guardhouse, which serves as the private quarters for chapter leader Julie Farkas. Inside, there's a small medical area straight ahead, featuring only a filing cabinet containing a single bottle cap. To the left, stairs lead up to a bedroom, where the Mormon Fort snow globe can be spotted atop a bookshelf. A copy of Today's Physician rests on the desk, though it's marked as owned and it must be taken stealthily. The Eastern Guardhouse, on the other hand, is primarily used for storage as indicated by the numerous wooden crates stacked inside. Visitors will find nothing much to collect here save for some tin cans located on the second floor. While exploring the old Mormon Fort, you can uncover several interesting items. One of these is the Follower's Lab Coat, which Julie rewards you with upon reaching an idolized reputation and completing her quests, including high times, short-term treatment, and long-term care. Once you finish these tasks, she not only offers you membership with the Followers, but also gives you the lab coat and a key to their safe house. Additionally, you can find Pacer's patient record tucked away in the medical room's filing cabinet. This serves as an optional objective during the King's Gambit quest. The in-game representation of the old Mormon Fort draws inspiration from the real-life Old Las Vegas Mormon Fort State Historic Park in Las Vegas, Nevada. The real-world site is recognized as the first structure built by European settlers in present-day Las Vegas. The Golden Gloves are a unique weapon in Fallout New Vegas. You can find them on the casino floor of the Lucky 38, specifically in the VIP lounge, which is located at the top of a small staircase on the left as you enter from the strip. The gloves are perched on top of the shelf behind the bar, right next to a framed issue of Boxing Times. Similar to regular boxing gloves, the Golden Gloves sacrifice damage per strike, being the least damaging unarmed weapon available, but they compensate for this by dealing fatigue damage. Out of the 3 fatigue-inflicting weapons, the Golden Gloves pack the most punch, inflicting 50 points of fatigue damage per strike, compared to the boxing gloves' 35 and the boxing tape's 20. Like their standard counterparts, they don't require any unarmed skill and only need 1 point in strength to be used effectively. In terms of appearance, the Golden Gloves are in immaculate condition, featuring a striking golden yellow and crisp white color scheme. The weapon's name pays homage to the National Golden Gloves competition in the United States, which is exclusively for amateur boxers. Participants have the chance to earn a championship belt and the title of national champion, distinct from professional boxing. Bloodnap is a distinctive weapon featured in the Fallout New Vegas add-on Lonesome Road. Unlike the standard Bowie knife, Bloodnap boasts increased critical hit damage and a higher chance to score a critical hit. When equipped, it also provides a temporary boost of plus 10 to your sneak skill, making it a notable choice for stealthy gameplay. The knife comes with a special Bloodnap attack that inflicts 80% damage in VATS while consuming 7 fewer action points, which requires a melee skill of 50. You can perform the Bloodnap move outside of VATS without needing the required melee skill, simply by initiating a power attack while moving forward. You can find Bloodnap in the Courier's Mile, accessible only after you complete the launch mission by finishing the missile launch sequence at the Ashton Silo Control Station. When you first enter the Courier's Mile, look for Bloodnap stuck into a pole of a street lamp to your left. The weapon's name plays on the slang phrase, "take a dirt nap," commonly used in organized crime to describe eliminating a target and burying them in an unmarked grave to avoid detection by law enforcement. The term dirt nap is referenced multiple times by Set in the original Fallout. The Bison Steve Hotel is located in Primm, nestled in the Mojave Wasteland. Before the Great War, the Bison Steve was among several casinos that graced Primm. However, the owners of the nearby Vicky and Vance Casino grew wary of the competition and started to spread negative rumors about the hotel. To mislead potential visitors, they programmed Primm Slim to divert inquiries, falsely claiming that the dealers were dishonest and that the roller coaster was not built to code. After the nuclear apocalypse, the hotel remained mostly intact, although its roller coaster was left out of action. At some point before 2281, a local resident known as Old Lori took over the building, renting out rooms as a means to make a living. She eventually fled from Primm a few months before October 2281, leaving the hotel abandoned once more. Soon after the breakout at the NCR Correctional Facility, a gang of escaped convicts stormed Primm, killing the local sheriff and his wife while taking the sole deputy, Beagle, hostage. They converted the deserted Bison Steve into their headquarters, launching a spree of plundering across Primm and its caravan trade, forcing the remaining townsfolk to seek refuge in the Vicky and Vance Casino. The remnants of the El Dorado roller coaster curl around the hotel. 2 convicts keep watch along the tracks and will attempt to shoot the courier if spotted. Additionally, 2 more convicts can be found between the hotel and the Vicky and Vance Casino. The casino's front door leads to the main floor, while the second floor can be accessed via a door that opens onto the roller coaster track. Above the main entrance, a sign advertises various attractions like blackjack, keno, a restaurant, shows, and slots. Inside the hotel, the main floor is populated by 6 convicts, along with an escaped convict leader. 1 or 2 of these convicts typically hang around the entrance, while the others tend to congregate near the large dining room at the back. They have attempted to fortify this area with overturned tables. Players can bypass direct confrontation by using the Bison Steve maintenance key or unlocking the easy locked maintenance door for quick access to the kitchen. Behind the reception desk at the entrance, a storage room can be accessed through either a hard locked door or an easy locked terminal on the counter. Additionally, there's an average lock safe containing some medics. Beyond the main entrance, a gift shop features a hard lock safe behind the counter and a copy of Tales of a Junktown jerky vendor resting atop it. A stairwell leads to the second floor, or players can repair the elevator with a repair skill of 35, although this yields no experience reward. Once fixed, the elevator connects the first and second floors. On the upper floors, 6 more convicts reside. One of them possesses a worn key to an average locked gun cabinet located on the 3rd floor. A ransom note can also be found here. Further down the hallway, a room contains 2 skeletons, some psycho, a few doses of medics, a switchblade, and a suitcase. You can discover some valuable loot, including a Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle cap placed on an end table next to a bottle opposite the elevator. An incinerator is held by the escaped convict leader in the main room on the 1st floor. We can also find a unique .357 Magnum revolver, known as Lucky, located inside the hard-locked floor safe. Additionally, there's a framed newspaper on the wall of the Vicky and Vance that features an article about a resident found splattered on the Bison Steve roller coaster. Notably, the Bison Steve Hotel in the game is inspired by Buffalo Bill's Resort and Casino in Primm, Nevada, which includes the Desperado roller coaster. The Dino Bite gift shop is located within Novak in the Mojave Wasteland. To find the entrance, head to the north side of Dinky the T-Rex in the Dino Delight Motel complex, where you'll need to climb a small flight of stairs. Upon entering the shop, you'll discover shelves lined with various items and a door leading to a storeroom. You can snag the key to this storeroom, allowing access to a treasure trove of approximately 160 rocket souvenirs and about 200 Dinky the T-Rex souvenirs, as well as a vending machine for Sunset Sarsaparilla. An interior staircase leads up to the mouth of the dinosaur, which doubles as a sniper perch. Depending on the time of the day, either Manny or Boone can be seen standing guard outside. We can find the unique weapon known as That Gun. This weapon is available for purchase from Cliff Briscoe, but it can also be found on the first shelf to the right in the storeroom. Just keep in mind that stealing it will cause the courier to lose karma. That gun is a heavily customized stripped-down .223 pistol and is the successor to the original weapon featured in Fallout and Fallout 2. Weighing in at 5 pounds, this firearm boasts a motorized cylinder and crane, enabling quicker shooting and reloading than a standard revolver. When you reload, the cylinder swings open to the left and automatically ejects spent casings. A green light on the left side of the gun turns yellow during reloading and then shifts back to green while emitting a ringing sound to signal that the weapon is ready to fire. If it jams, the light turns red and the cylinder gets stuck halfway out, but the courier can fix this issue by hitting the cylinder back in. Like the .556 pistol and the .223 pistol from previous installments, That Gun is inspired by the pistol used by Rick Deckard in the film Blade Runner. However, this version varies significantly in design, lacking the bolt handle, ejection port, and secondary trigger. Joshua Sawyer has mentioned that the name That Gun comes from the fact that many players referred to the .223 pistol in Fallout and Fallout 2 by this nickname. Harper's Shack is a location in the Mojave Wasteland. Nestled to the north of Deadwind Cavern at the end of Primm Pass, this 2-room shack is positioned against a south-facing rock face. Outside, you'll find a cozy campfire surrounded by prickly pear cacti. Inside, the courier can take advantage of a workbench and a reloading bench, along with various crafting tools, several ammunition boxes, and an assortment of weapons and loot. Harper's Shack also features multiple storage containers and a usable bed. On the table at the back of the room, you can spot a Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle cap. Lastly, there's a shovel against the far wall from the door. While it is highlighted as a shovel when you aim for it, interaction is limited to simply using the grab option to move it around.